And we are live. What is up, everybody? Aaron the Dag back with Dave Van Auken of Fight Bananas, Dave Van Auken Show, Banana and the Bee, etc. MMA Zone. That's just what I call them there. But finally got the. How you doing, Dave? We're here to break down UFC Fight Night, Holloway and Rodriguez. I don't know. We also got the return of the Phenom, who's going to be getting a W this weekend. Felicia Spencer. But I want to call it, UFC's used to have nicknames like UFC Revelations or whatever.
Yes,
this is just
breakthrough.
This is just like UFC Fight Night, the happening, the completion. I don't know what to call this because apparently we don't even need to break down the main event. It's already done. I don't know if it's like minus 1,000 odds at this point or what, but yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's the biggest odds for a main event all year, isn't it? What other fight would have had odds to this size? Was there a Shevchenko?
The
There wasn't.
main events are usually pretty damn close to the odds. Remember, the underdogs were killing it in the spring.
They always put Shevchenko as a co-main. They never put her as a main event. So
Amanda, you're right. That probably is the biggest main event odds. So okay. Aaron, if I could start a total left field question for you. You know how much I love fights. I love fight cards. I love Saturday night. Could the UFC just one time be like, hey, this card's kind of falling apart. It's a Max Holloway, Felicia Spencer card. Let's just kind of
merge it
to next week. Tell me Max Holloway, the main event, Miesha Tate, Felicia Spencer, featured spot. Like, what are we doing here?
No, that's way out of left field. Let's see. Barely. Okay, Justin's saying he wants to discuss the showtime. Hey, you know what, man? We got to move it around at times. Dave is a busy man. He's got 5 or 6 kids at this point. I've lost track. I think it's 7 now. Dave and the 7 dwarves. He's Snow White here. So, and also Bunny, she's also busy with her own stuff. So, some weeks, we'll get the 3 of us together. Some weeks it will be her and I. Some weeks it will be Dave and I. But speak of the devil herself, the moderator is in the house. What up, Bunny? Good to have you here. But yeah, I mean, we'll either be around this time, 3:00 in the afternoon, or maybe around 7. Just depends. But I'll try to give you guys a heads up ahead of time. But yeah, no merging. I'm a Survivor fan, and I'm all about the merge on Survivor. I'm not all about the merge in MMA. Okay. Every single week. I mean, I say it every single week. I text Bunny. I'm like, oh my God, this card. I mean, every single week I think it's interesting. I don't think this week is any exception to that. So as much as I'd like to see, 2 cards merged together every single week is, almost its own event here. And cards aren't on paper also. So I know you're not saying that either, but it's
there's a couple fights on here I like a lot. There's a couple like exciting fights, kind of underneath the radar fights. Some of those prelim fights are really good. I just like it's like to have Max Holloway that much of a heavy favorite. The co-main event of this card to me is, oh man, like I don't want to see it. Like I don't need to see this fight. And then next week's fight card, there's a couple of skeptical. It's like they could take out 2 fights and add 1 to a pay-per-view or 1 short notice and merge these cards. It would be an amazing fight card.
I mean, considering, they are trying to sell these Apex events now. I think they're trying to sell tickets to the Holloway event this weekend for like $3,500 dollars. Yeah, for these the side, the howler seats next to the or whatever. But either way, we got fights here. Yeah, the main event and the co-main event, maybe, especially the co-main event, not something a lot of people are wanting to see. But it's kind of one of these things where the beginning of the card, I think, starts out really strong. Yeah. And sometimes it just doesn't really quite make sense how they order the top of the cards out. Often I feel like we're asking, why is this fight in the co-main event? Why is this fight on the main card and this fight? Bellator and UFC do that. It's just kind of weird. What sells, but we'll go ahead and hop in here. We got 11 fights now to break down. So Kyle Dawkins and Roman Dolidze, I think, was the latest to bite the dust. So We go on with the 11 fights here. We start out with, I think, maybe the fight of the night. It's weird when they do this. I do not get it here, but I think this is an awesome one. What up, Indigo, Ginzo, Tapio, Combate, Justin? Love to see y'all here. But we got Kennedy Njoku taking on Da-Un Young at 205. This is a super interesting fight. First of all, Da-Un Young, I'll be breaking down first. I'm a huge fan of Da-Un Young. I will say that first and foremost. That might tip a little bit where I'm picking here. But I'll go ahead and break down the 27-year-old Korean top team representative here, 14-2-1 for Saeda Da-Un Young, 27 years old, 6'4", 78.5-inch reach on a 13-fight win streak, 14-2-1 overall for the KTT representative. Here, coming off of that win against William Knight, 2 takedowns in the first round, 3 in the second, 4 in the third. Da-Un Young just completely put on a clinic in that fight, albeit against William Knight. And so it was just a really, really good performance. Obviously, the Sam Alvey fight, there are some concerns there. Let Sam Alvey come back and end up causing a draw. I do think he did still win that fight, but fighting Sam Alvey close, not a great thing. Other than that, though, Ibrahimov in his debut looked great until the standing guillotine. Clean knockout of Mike Rodriguez. Really good boxing, good takedowns, really good overall MMA game plan. A few weeks ago, we saw a lot of people on the South Korean, his teammate. Da-Un Young is the guy who I think was, I think the better of the Korean top team representatives here, personally. But we've seen Kennedy Njoku 9-1 now. I believe this is going to be his 4th fight in the UFC. Right. So really good experience here. 29 years old, which is a little bit older than I thought he was, but still 6'5", 83-inch reach. Sometimes uses that reach really well. Other times you're just kind of raising your hands. 3 straight wins, though. Darko, there was, I think, 4 nut shots in that fight, 3 points taken away. But Darko Stosic is a weird guy to fight. He just is. You're going to have some ugly fights with him. And, yeah, I mean, he got through it. Carlos Ulberg, he went with a lot of the shots and ended up gassing out the one-round fighter there. Da-Un Young is not a one-round fighter at all. He really keeps a steady pace, so that probably won't work too well. And then Danielle Marquez, I'll be nice here. I rate him very lowly. I just think he's one of these guys who, if you're a good athlete and you put it together enough, which Kennedy did, Kennedy's 3rd rounds are one way or the other. We saw Paul Craig ended up making the mistakes there in the 3rd round, it costing him. We saw with Darko, he was pretty much out of gas. Then with Danielle Marquez, it was his strength in that fight. Here with Da-Un Young, I just don't think that his unorthodoxness is going to work well. I think Da-Un Young's going to crowd him a lot, that 83-inch reach. Sometimes we always say reach advantage. Sometimes it's a disadvantage when you cannot establish that distance. And I think those arms being folded in, that 83 inches is not going to be an advantage here in the Apex. I think it actually gets Da-Un Young inside closer. I think he puts on another William Knight type of performance here. And I think he gets the takedowns and wrestles them and just kind of controls them. Similar type of game plan. I'll take Da-Un Young by decision.
Okay. No, great points there with the reach. But the more and more I'll do these shows and the great people that watch these shows, I'm huge fans of them now. They'll start to learn more and more about me. And one of my dark horse things, my closet things is I'm an old school professional wrestling guy. So there's no way Mr. Kennedy is not going to win this fight. I'm going 2005 SmackDown era. I got Kennedy all day long, man. It's like the Odie fight of last week. I sometimes your examples and analogies are better. It makes more sense. You have literally reason on your side. This is a gut feeling. I think Kennedy wins late too. I like him 2nd or 3rd round technical knockout. I got Kennedy in the underdog role to kick off the night.
Yeah, Kennedy is the slight underdog, even money, minus 120 on Dao Young. Whichever side you're on here, you're going to be loving it, I think.
Yeah.
Dao Young at minus 120. I'm not going to be passing on that. Miz is on your side here. I saw a couple of Dao Youngs there, so this is a close fight for a reason.
Yeah.
I do like Dao Young. I like him by decision. I think that this goes over the 2.5 rounds also, so I don't see a finish either way. I think it's a close one. Really good fight to start out the night here. Kennedy's had his rough third rounds too, so people want to live bet him, live bet with caution. That's my suggestion on that one. But great fight to start out tonight, regardless. If they put that as the co-main over what we had, I wouldn't have argued, frankly. And if they put the co-main where that was, I wouldn't argue.
Right.
So,
am I the only person that I don't know why I like this fight so much coming up?
Yeah, Mark Diakese taking on Raphael Alves, tractor trailer at Frator, 155. This one's being fought at. I'm not gonna say I love a Raphael Alves fight quite yet. There's something about a guy who misses lightweight limit for a featherweight fight that rubs me the wrong way. But Raphael Alves, 19, literally weighed in at 157.5 for a 145 featherweight fight. But MMA Masters representative here, Raphael Alves, as you can see. I mean, he's a beast, man. He's built absolutely large enough for the 155 division. Only 31 years old, 5'8", 68-inch reach. Lost his last fight back in May to go to 19-10. It was against Damir Ismagulov, though. And third round, all of a sudden, Raphael Alves is pouring it on. That's just, kind of crazy. You look at Raphael Alves and you think this guy just kind of comes in and he's like a tank and, really tries to, just overwhelm his opponent. But it was actually Damir who slowed down in that fight, was out striking his opponent pretty thoroughly in the first 2 rounds, and then Alves outstruck him. Alves beat Alejandro Flores on the Contender Series, had pretty rough first round, and then came back in the second round, got the guillotine choke. See a lot of guillotine chokes on his record, see a lot of later finishes on his record in general. He does have several fights where he's losing before he's winning. So he's kind of a guy you can't ever be necessarily safe with. Not the craziest level of competition off in the regional scene. Has a lot of losses also there. There's some, a little bit of a questions I have about the resume then having to move up to 155 here. For me, this is one that I just think Mark Diakese is going to show how good he is on the feet. I think that Alves is not going to really be able to touch him to get down to the ground. I just kind of see Alves being able to take Diakese being able to take this one kind of kickboxing clinic. 14-4, did lose his last time out, but is with ATT now. And it was to Rafael Fiziev. It was a very good fight and a very different fight.
Awesome. Remember how fun that was to watch?
Yeah, and this is going to be a very different fight here. And just with Diakese, he kind of went from, like a guy who needed the bone crusher finishes of the Timu Pakalin. He's not really that guy anymore. He's much more of kind of a Bobby Green type of striker, to where he's able to stretch out these fights a little more, not depend on the finish. Last 2 decisions over Joe Duffy and Lando before the Fiziev fight. This to me is just one where he's just several levels above Alves. I think Alves is, got a puncher's chance, but I think otherwise Diakese should kind of outclass him here.
I almost can't put anything else on it. Like, you absolutely nailed it. Raphael's so tough. So I do think this is going to go 12 minutes, 10 minutes. I'm so intrigued to see if the first fight is a stoppage. Sometimes it goes on momentum. I think if the first fight ends in that second, third round, this fight as well. But if it seems like you're leaning the first fight, the Kennedy fight, to go all 15. If that fight goes UD, I think this fight goes 15 minutes as well. So I'm intrigued. I don't know why. It's just one of those things. Sometimes it's a fight thing. People want to end fights when they see one beforehand. I love Diakasi here a lot. Like, what is he at, minus 190 last time I saw?
Yeah, minus 185, plus
Yeah,
150 on Alves. I'm pretty surprised here.
Yeah, I love it. Love it.
DKC out in All Stars Gym out in Sweden. Yep, training with Gustafsson, the Cosmont Gym. Yeah.
One of my most, probably my third lock of the night.
Yeah. I mean, I like these first two. For me, I like Darwin Young and Diakasi together for an easy double up, or not an easy double up, but double up on the first two fights also, and we'll get you probably close to plus 300 on those two favorites that I think both should be higher favorites than they are. Diakasi's is closer to accurate, but yeah, should be a good fight. Both those fights better than the co-main event. I could really say that for most of the fights, except for this next fight. This next fight, I hear a sizzle. Y'all know what that sizzle is. This is what I call a steak fight, which I have to refer to too often when talking about Courtney Casey fights. Courtney Casey versus Liana Jojua. Okay, I'm going to just be honest here. I'm not betting $1 on this fight. I'm not betting on a prop. I'm not betting on I'm not going to fall into betting Jojua as an underdog. I'm definitely not going to fall into betting Courtney Casey as a minus 230. I'm not sure what planet that is from, but it's not from Earth. It's from crazy, but it's not going to run me into betting Liana Jojua either. But I do pick Jojua in this fight, and I'm going to take Jojua simply by the fact that, with all due respect for Courtney Casey, I think Courtney Casey has some responsibilities outside the octagon that she cares more about than inside the octagon at this point. For me, Courtney Casey, she could catch like another one of those Courtney Casey arm bars like that she caught like against Romero, or one of these random inside the guard arm bars that only happened to Manny Bermudez and a few other fighters in 2020 UFC. But I just think Jojua is just a little more aggressive, a little more assertive here, and I just don't think Courtney Casey is going to be able to hurt her or keep her, kind of at bay here. She could, Jojua gets opened in every fight too. But I'll take Jojua by decision, but not $1.
Okay, it's so far. I'm kind of the opposite on you on this one. If you're in like a pool, or you're just like, hey, Dave, who wins this fight? No odds. Just who do you think wins? I would lean Courtney Casey, probably a unanimous decision, maybe even a split decision. I would lean Casey. But betting wise, and this is big reason why we're here, Aaron, right? Yeah. I love Jojua in a multiple fighter parlay. Absolutely love her. You stick her, Chaos Williams. I like Kennedy at the opening spot. If you want to throw in a Felicia Spencer at a minus 300, or Diakasi at a minus 190, make it a 4-fighter. But even like I said, just those three.
What about this fight just like not going the distance? Because that will probably get you plus money. And maybe just one of them running into a finish. You don't see either one of them finishing this fight.
I don't, and I could be wrong. Like, of course.
Yeah.
But
no, I'm thinking inside the distance has got to be. Let me see.
Plus 175.
If it's over plus 200, plus 170.
Yeah.
If the fight under 1.5 is plus 290. If somehow it just doesn't get out of the first, plus
290, I don't mind, but that's what I mean. Like, if you go Jojua, Kennedy, and Chaos, I'm looking at probably plus 1,200.
Yeah, exactly. Jojua, say that again. So you got Kennedy, Jojua, and Chaos.
Yeah.
You're going with your 3. Yeah, that right there gets you to 1125.
There we go. That's what I mean. That's the only key I like this fight. It's the only
with Kennedy and Chaos alone, it's just plus 330.
Right. That's what I mean. The third fight and a plus 180 really pops it up. Just throw $100 on it. Throw 100 on it, and to win the 1125, where it's almost a couple coin tosses, and sometimes you get them. And
this is all we gotta say. Indigo, you said it well. Well said, Indigo. We're gonna move on. We'll move on to the next one. We're busy people here, and on a fight that is only gonna get maybe one long shot parlay or less. We move on here. Next fight is another good one here, in my opinion. This one is at 145 pounds. We got the sniper Sean Woodson taking on Michigan's own. I'm Michigan's own as well. Colin Anglin, former Spartan, go green. Rough weekend against Purdue, but we're gonna move on. These things happen. Good. This is a good featherweight fight here. I think much closer than a lot of people are looking into it, though. 8-1 versus 8-2, so very similar record. 6'2", 79-inch reach for Woodson. He has got an 8-inch reach advantage on Colin Anglin. 5'9", 71-inch Scorpion fight team in Michigan. Straight up for Colin. If Colin comes in, fights the same way he fought in his debut, this is going to be a long night, and I'm going to look like I've never watched MMA before. But I'm willing to bet that Colin Anglin gets multiple successful takedowns in this fight. And by doing that, I'm willing to give him more of a chance than certainly the odds are giving him here. Lost his last fight out to Bogdan Zarian. Got knocked out by him in the second round. For whatever reason, he thought it was a good idea to trade with just a guy that you don't want to trade with. And props to Souza, who really avoided pretty much all the damage in that fight. I think Souza really showed how good he is in that short notice fight last week against Bogdan Zarian. But either way, Colin Anglin, I don't know if it was the nerves. I don't know what it was, but he looked really good against Mohammadjan Naimov, who we've seen over at Titan FC champion, and used the wrestling in there, got the takedowns, really gritted one out. Bogdan Zarian, I'm not going to say it. Yeah, whatever. That you can get on your podcast then. But either way, I'm not going to. I liked more what I saw at the Contenders Series, Colin Anglin, and that typically is what we've seen. But we've seen before these fighters who get to dance one way, maybe being more grinding and more of a wrestler, and then they feel the pressure of the big lights, feel the pressure of bonus checks, feel the pressure of trying to get off of the prelims, and it changes how they fight and everything like that. But either way, I'm just gonna lean ever so slightly towards Colin Anglin in this fight. I do really like Sean Woodson. I think sometimes he can get a little bit gassed, though. I think the best Sean Woodson in every single one of his fights is the first round. And, I certainly can see a place where he snipes him all the first round. Colin is just moving right into those telephone poles and gets knocked out. But also I can see a spot where the second round begins, the steps start getting much heavier for Woodson, the strikes get less and less, allows the grappling, allows cage control from Anglin. I'm going to lean towards Colin Anglin here. The price to me is way off, and it's worth a shot at the dog here. I think it goes to a decision either way, so I'll probably do the over 2.5 also on top of there's a little insurance. But give me Colin Anglin plus 255 against a Sean Woodson who he's been good, but he hasn't been great inside of the UFC. Split decision with Youssef Zalal. I do think that Colin Anglin is very similar to Youssef in many ways, if not a little bit better power from Colin he's shown at times. And then, we saw the deep war with Julian Erosa. We saw with Kyle Bochniak, he slowed down. Terrence McKinney, he was losing until that strike. So I'm not sold on at all, but yeah.
Dude, I when there's two of us, right, it's great theater, or if you want to say if we totally disagree, we disagreed on the first fight of the night.
Yep.
We're lined up here again. Colin at plus 255, like it's ridiculous. If it was, I don't know, plus 130, I would be like, okay, maybe this, but at that value, I'm taking Colin all day long. We just talked about a parlay. How about you put in Jojua, Colin, and then Chaos? Like now we're going to plus 1,600, 1,800. I don't know. I'm not a Sean Woodson guy. He's got these long reach, and I see boxing here in the comments of loving. Mm-hmm. Sometimes he doesn't use it, and I just think this could be a grindy 15-minute shit show. And if that is the way, Colin's going to win this fight.
Yeah, and right here, Anglin is the best wrestler Woodson's faced again. And Let's see. Yeah, I had Dao Young, brother. Don't worry. Armchair. I got Dao Young as well. While
Kennedy!
Let me tell you, I did pick against Kennedy 2 fights ago. I definitely didn't pick him against him with Danielle Marquez because I will never pick Danielle Marquez. That's just me, man. Danielle Marquez is what's known in the biz as wolf tickets.
Right, no, dude. That's the best comment. This is the comment I'm talking about. I totally agree with that. With his long reach, he's awful at it. He doesn't know how to use his distance or reach. I love.
Yeah,
that
he's got Stefan Struve syndrome. He's got this giant reach and never uses it. Stefan Struve, one of my favorite players of all time. I can say it. But yeah, again, minus 300 on Woodson. You got to take advantage of those spots. I don't believe that Woodson should be a minus 300 in this spot. So. Gonna move on here to the next fight at 125. Cynthia Calvillo getting another just opportunity on a silver platter. I don't know how many more silver platter opportunities Cynthia Calvillo could get coming off of getting put away by Jessica Andrade live in front of me in Las Vegas. She didn't look all that into the fight, to be honest with you, from the beginning. Didn't really look like she believed. That was all over Jessica Andrade, so it's all good. Andrea Lee coming off of that performance against Antonina Shevchenko, where Antonina Shevchenko once again showed I am the lesser Shevchenko. If you make me uncomfortable, I will crumble. And sure enough, Andrea Lee made her uncomfortable. She crumbled. This isn't a fight. This is another fight. Honestly, I'm not crazy about a few of the female fights on this card. I think they're pretty not intriguing. Andrea Lee, for me, I'm not super sold on her. She had her best performance in years in her last fight, though. I think that she did show that she's still very much in tune with. All right, calm down, Justin. Go get another shirt. I'm not sure how dedicated to the game Cynthia Calvillo is. Cynthia Calvillo in her mid-30s now, has always seemed to have trouble with dedication with regards to her discipline, has had a lot of weight issues, had to move up, still has weight issues. I'm not exactly sure if she has this unstoppable wrestling to be able to just kind of lay on top of Lee for 3 rounds. I just think Lee's a little more into the game, which, and just a little more well-rounded. I think Calvillo has a better chance of finishing here, but I think that Lee has a better chance of winning the decision. So I don't, really think that I can rate Calvillo too highly here. I mean, it's tough. It's 12-5 versus 9-3-1. Calvillo really looked just completely disengaged last fight, but she was facing Jessica Andrade. This is very much a step down from Jessica Andrade. So, 2 straight losses, Chukagian and Andrade, no shame there. This is probably going to look, kind of like that Jessica I fight, and that was a pretty unremarkable fight. A lot of grinding, a lot of position changes. As you can tell, I'm not too sold on either one of these people. Cynthia Calvillo, I guess, just because she's faced a little better level of competition, and it seems like the UFC has some interest in getting her a win. And Lee, I can't overrate too much a win over Antonina, but I don't know.
Okay, so
I don't mean I know you don't tune in to hear. I don't know, but yeah.
I got Cynthia Calvillo in this one. Better. Okay. She's fought better competition. In this spot, you got to think coming off of 2 losses, and I know the UFC will let girls, especially Cynthia Calvillo, a longer leash. But with her having 2 losses in a row, she needs a win. Like, she needs to get a win. If she loses this one, that could be the next one is a fighter or leaves fight kind of a thing. So I think this fight kind of with Andrea Lee winning the last one, Calvillo's more in an emergency spot. So I like Calvillo in that thing. 2, I would love to see him weigh in. I want to see how they look. That's a real thing. And then last thing is that Calvillo, maybe a week ago, they were really close. Minus 110, 105, plus 105. They kind of went back and forth. The last time I looked at it, Aaron, Calvillo was minus 145 on where I bet. So that means the money is coming in on Calvillo. I kind of like that. I think that means, they probably know what's going on. I think smart money is on Calvillo. So I was iffy for a while, but in the last week, I really started putting my Cynthia Calvillo T-shirt on, I guess. I like her too. At minus 140, I don't think that's a big enough. I'm in. I just like betting her straight.
Yeah, Cynthia Calvillo minus 130 on my book, plus 110 on Andre.
I like the 130. Give me that all day. All day.
Yeah, I mean, she was knocked out like a little over a month ago, but it wasn't a hard knockout at all. I mean, it was a knockout where Cynthia just turned away and seemed to look for the exit from the fight. So I'll take Cynthia, I should say, at minus 130. Slight favorite there. And I'm going to bet it pretty much solo here. Next fight is the final fight on the prelims, and it's a hell of a fight. Again, this fight could be the co-main event. It's almost like everything but the co-main event should be the co-main event. It's bizarre. Thiago Moises taking on the Spanish grappler, awkward fighter in Joel Alvarez here. I think there's a really interesting fight here between two guys who I think could stick around in the division for quite some time. Joel Alvarez 18-2, 20 fights versus the 15-5, 20-fight fighter, and Thiago Moises. So Spain versus Brazil, 77-inch reach for Joel Alvarez versus a 70.5-inch reach of the 5'9 Moises. Huge frame difference here for Alvarez, and Alvarez does at times use it pretty well, particularly with his kicks. You'll see some side kicks to the legs, oblique kicks. Strike sometimes doesn't use it as well. Sometimes he's a little bit loopy with his shots. So I'd like to see him straighten it out, develop a jab a little bit, but 3 straight wins still. They're over on his way out, Joe Duffy, Daniel Belluardo, and Alexander Yakovlev. So what a step up in competition he's going through here.
Huge step up.
And he got pretty schooled by Damir Ismagulov in his debut. Now, Damir Ismagulov may be the guy, so we don't, but it's so tough here, man, because I love Alvarez. I really like what I've seen. You see in the regional, albeit the Spanish regional, AFL, which I've not really heard of. A lot of guillotines, Darce chokes, triangle chokes. So definitely, and he came into UFC. He has an arm bar. He has a guillotine choke, but it's against Yakovlev. It's against Joe Duffy. Thiago Moises is a legit black belt. You look at these wins he's had; they've aged like fine wine. 15-5. He did lose his last time out to Islam Makhachev. Made it to 4th round. Are you kidding me?
I know. Look at Dan Hooker.
It was a set, and let me go ahead and put this up. Great comment there by Bunny. Yeah, thank you.
Good job, Bunny. I agree. He's the best. He's the best little bro ever.
Yeah. Appreciate all the veterans out there. Remembrance Day in Canada, Veterans Day here. Moises, that loss to Makhachev, no shame there. Looked, had to come back from some adversity against Michael Johnson. I think that's no shame. The Bobby Green fight, not sure he won that fight. Just saying. But the Alexander Hernandez fight, fantastic. I think that type of performance, that level of guy is just, going to be a little bit too much for Joel Alvarez here. We're going to see the step up in competition. I like Thiago Moises here. I like him by decision. I just think he does what he needs to do here to get the win. So Joel Alvarez is good. It's a tempting dog in some ways with the price it's at, but I think this is right. Thiago.
What's his price at right now?
Thiago's minus 265.
Ooh, whoa. I like Moises a lot here in this spot. The lineup looks great. I know you said about the Bobby Green, but it looks awesome now. Bobby Green's on this tear, so getting a green W next to Bobby Green's name is awesome. I know it. You say this all the time, and I love it. I think I steal it from you. I just like when people go, "Oh, did you see Thiago? He went 4 rounds with Islam. He did lose the fight, though. If that's your your go-to is him losing a 4-round fight.
But goddamn, look at how people are losing to Makhachev lately.
Yeah, so
look at how Dauber lost. Look at how Hooker, these guys who have never lost in such a way. And this is a young guy in Moises, 25 years old.
I agree. So I'm really on Moises a lot here. Big. Minus 265. It's pretty hard to bet him straight. So you might want to go, Moises UD, or you put Moises with one of your, how about him and DeCassi, or maybe him and one of the underdogs.
Yeah, well, I think if we were putting together our three, which we'll try to put together at the end of the night, maybe a 3 parlay, I think this would definitely be one of the 3.
Yeah, him and Calvillo maybe add to that. Oh, that's pretty good too.
Yeah, exactly. But I like the spot here. I like the level of competition and everything. And I do think that Joel can eventually come back. Dave, I do, as you know, I run my dog business here. So at times, I have to pause for a second. We're getting to the main card here. Before we get to it, how about you kind of let people know what's coming up on Fight Pass? I'm actually going to be right back, literally about 2 minutes. So all you for a second. I will be back.
Aaron, you're wrong over the line. All right. So I'm gonna make myself big. Is that cool? There we go. Whoa, that's real big. Yeah. So no, a lot of stuff going on, guys. I just actually did a couple little Instagram lives on Fight Bananas on the IG Fight Bananas official. It's awesome. Go give that a follow. Podcast I just recorded with Cody Law, Bellator, undefeated featherweight. Love that. Cody Law is one of my guys. We went for over 30 minutes. I usually am a 15, 20-minute guy. I think it's a sweet spot. But when you just have gold, we talk about House of Cards. We talk about open scoring. We talked about the Canelo fight. Of course, we talked about UFC 268. So Cody Law and myself, we go for 30 minutes. It was awesome. That's out there. Talked about with the Jorge Masvidal injury, who should step up and fight. With breaking news, I think it kind of just happened right before we went on air. December 18th, did you see Bilal Muhammad versus Wonderboy Thompson got booked? So to me, that means 100% Leon Edwards is out of that fight. Like, he does not want to be in there. He wants the Usman fight. He liked the big money fight against Jorge, but he's not taking a shorter notice Chimaev fight. It's not happening. Like, Leon Edwards is way past that, and it's just not his MO. Like, he's not Cowboy or Chimaev or these guys that will go. Dave, how you become friends with Cody Law? How did you become? Well, we just started talking. I do this a lot, and I talk to a lot of guys and been doing it for a minute. I talked to Cody Law before his professional debut, and I just think it's who I am. I'm sincere, and we just talk about life. He's got a great family. We talk about family all the time, and he knows I'm a dad, and we just talk about real talk. So, and then it just happens that he's one of the best featherweights in the world, or at least for Bellator. So it's pretty awesome. I don't see Leon being a champ. All the lesser top 5, he barely squeezed fights. Yeah, no, I agree, Justin. I'm not a big Leon guy at all, and hate saying this, he's very skillful, and I don't want to be so super negative on him. I just don't see don't see the fight. I think Usman right now, we're in the Usman era, as much as we don't want to say it. He is the pound for pound best fighter alive today. He's incredible. Chimaev is on the run up, and there's just so many, like, welterweights. There's so many fan favorites. Everyone has their cup of tea. I'm a Jorge guy. Some people I know love Wonderboy Thompson. Some love the underdog of Bilal Muhammad. So there's just a lot of top 5, top 7 favorite welterweights, and Leon's not it. There's a lot of people that still love Nate Diaz as that top tier guy. So not into it. Oh, we're back. Oh, I can't hear you.
Yep. All right. So I didn't want to interrupt there at all, but thanks for taking over. Chico is popping in saying hello here. Yeah, we'll go ahead and hop back in. But I think that I think there's a lot of interesting MMA that's getting sorted out at the beginning of 2022. I'm hoping we get to see the Israel Bobby Knuckles fight. They're saying for February. Someone said earlier when fights are targeted or whatever. I just ignore that at this point. I'm pretty along the same lines. I don't want to hear targeted. I want to see him in there. But
David looks like
David looking like a. Yeah, no argument here. James Cross wish he had the hair of Dave Van Auken. But we're going to go ahead and hop back into the breakdown here as much as we want to break down Dave's hair. But next fight, first fight on the main card here, Yadong Song taking on Julio Arce here. This is an interesting fight. 145. Again, could be the co-main event easily over what the co-main event is, and I'll say that for every fight from here on out. But Yadong Song, 23 years old, not even 24 yet, taking on a 32-year-old New Jersey representative and Julio Arce. So right there, 9-year age difference sticks out right away. 67-inch versus 70-inch, 5'8", 5'7" here, China. For Yadong Song, who's fighting on Team Alpha Male versus Tiger Schulman rep. Julio Arce. Julio Arce is 17-4. Won his last fight out over Andre Ewell, knocked him out. Good back and forth bout there. Before that, had a couple split decisions against Shaman Marias. Not great. Don't like to see that. Hakeem Dawodu, a little more makes sense. Did knock out Julio or Julian Arosa in their fight in the third round. Got a third round stoppage of Daniel Tamer. Had a really bloody back and forth fight with Dan Ige in their debuts. Really entertaining. Knocked out Peter Pettis on the Contender Series. An okay win there for sure. Julio Arce, this to me is the most, are you going to go with the brawler, the scrapper, the one who's going to make it dirty? Oh, the technician here. And Yadong Song, who's just so technical, footwork's right, the check hook's right, good at wrestling, good defensive wrestling, fights a lot of fights close. I just think this is a fight where just not always the better fighter doesn't always win. I've said this several times where the better fighter wins in MMA, quote unquote, the better technical fighter wins like 70, 75% of the time. I do think that kind of falls in right here. I just think Yadong Song is going to be quicker to the punch. I don't think he's going to allow this to get to the kind of scrambling areas where Julio Arce needs to get to get to a potential grappling finish or, kind of spot where Julio Arce can win. I just think Yadong Song is going to be hitting Julio Arce 3 times for every one shot of Julio Arce. I think the shots get there quicker. I just think Yadong Song is only 23. We've seen some of the stumbles right in front of us here. I mean, and again, I think that sometimes causes people to judge guys more harshly. I don't think he beat Chito Vera, but he fought Chito Vera competitively and definitely was not in any sort of situations that a guy like Frankie Edgar was in, for example, last weekend or something. So, I think Yadong Song is so good, sometimes it's boring. But I just have never been sold on Julio Arce. And I just think he allows guys to be in fights a little bit too much, guys who aren't on his level. And I think Yadong Song is above his level. So I like Yadong Song quite a bit here. I think he puts on a showing. I think Yadong Song puts on a similar showing to, kind of the Mark Diakese earlier in the card, where it's just one of these where maybe you're wanting to see him go for the finish a little more, but kind of cruises to a decision. I think it's just going to be more of a display of kind of just better technical skills from Song.
Ditto. Ditto. Like you sometimes, Aaron, you're so good at it, I don't got to do anything. Absolutely ditto. He's one of my top, he's probably my 4th or 5th best lock of the card. I like Yadong Song a lot in this spot.
Minus 130, minus 130, minus 135, plus 110 on Julio Arce.
Come on. Like and I love, it's hard to bet 260s and 225s minus just on their own selves. At least for me, that's just my cup of tea. I like to, at minus a 250 with another 250 or, with an underdog and try to hit at minus 135. I'm taking that all day long, like all day. Just give me that one fight. Hopefully, you pick out the right 3 out of the 4 or 2 out of the 3 and you win positive money. I'll take that all day long.
I mean, right here, my 3 that I'd put together, I put Yadong, Thiago Moises, and Diakese in a parlay.
Yeah. What's that? Plus 330?
I'll just go ahead and right now in my book, Yadong, Song, Moises, gets you to even at over even for sure, and then add on Diakese. So those three plus 270. So yeah, plus 270. Yeah, I mean, I don't see. I'm not sure which one of those is the one that doesn't come through. So I do like Yadong here, but I do see it being back and forth. And Arce is the kind of guy who, once he capitalizes, he could put him away. But I mean, you look at Yadong's Song, and I don't believe he's been put away in any of his 5 losses. And I mean. Just with Arce, he's been a little bit inactive. I think he's been dealing with some injuries at times. Again, Kyler Phillips took him to a decision. Otherwise, Yadong Song, he has been finished, but it was a few times, I think, as a teenager. So with other than those, I like Yadong Song in this spot here. I think Yadong is getting better, and I think we've probably seen the peak of Julio Arce, but we'll see. Maybe he peaks right here with a win over Yadong Song. That would be another. But we'll move on to the next fight, minus 135 on Yadong Song, though I like quite a bit. Next fight is at welterweight here. I know this is a fight that we both definitely had our eyes on, and I'm excited to talk to you about it here. Love this fight. If people have been listening so far today, they should know who you're going with, since you've listed this guy being in like 2 or 3 parlays. But we'll see if people's active listening skills are working or not. We got Miguel Baeza taking on Chaos Williams here. Chaos Williams maybe shouldn't be called Chaos Williams over his last couple fights, if I'm being honest. Haven't seen that same guy. Murcielago, 6', 77-inch reach, taking on the 6'2", 74.5 reach MMA Masters, Caramel Thunder, Miguel Baeza. As I said with Chaos Williams, the last couple fights, I've not quite seen the chaos as much as before, but did get a win over Matt Sumlinsberger in his last fight. Good footwork in that fight. A little increased volume from the fight prior, so I will give him that, but wasn't quite, the guy who came in against Morano, the guy who came in against Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Against Michel Pereira, we saw him, kind of pull a little bit too far back on the gas. He was with Jackson Winklejohn for that camp. Now he's back with Murcielago, Jamal Hill, some other fighters over there with Chaos. It's his home gym. I just think that, with Chaos, he's got to find that kind of happy medium between the fighter who's a little bit too tactical, holds back just a little bit too much, and the fighter who's going balls to the walls trying to get the first round finish. I think that this is a really good opportunity for him in this matchup, though. He's got a guy in Miguel Baeza. He's not going to have to think about takedowns. He's not going to have to think about anything but stand up here. Both guys, I don't think are going to be taking this to the mat. With Miguel Baeza, he's had some pretty bad habits, almost come back to bite him in several fights now. And frankly, in the last fight against Ponzinibbio, we saw them really come back and bite him. He got tagged up quite a bit in there. Miguel Baeza, he lands 5 strikes a minute, and he takes 5 strikes a minute. That is a huge, huge problem. He takes one to get one, takes one to get one. And if you're taking one to get one against Chaos Williams, you're going to go down. I think at some point here, he's going to throw a naked leg kick, maybe a looping body, something that leaves the overhand right, a right hook open. Chaos needs one of those to connect. And I get it. He went to distance with Ponzinibbio. This is a little bit different of a matchup here. I like Chaos Williams to get the KO. There's some serious defensive issues for Miguel Baeza. I think he's not the biggest 170er either. I think there's going to be a strength. There's going to be a serious power advantage for Chaos. And for Miguel, if he hasn't really, really focused on that defense, which I have not seen any indications of, and coming off that fight in June, I don't see enough time for him to correct those issues. I think Chaos connects and finishes him.
100%. I'm going to be like the ESPN analyst that just says 4 cliches and that's what you get. But this is such a stylistic bad matchup for Miguel Baeza. It just doesn't work. Exactly what you said. he is going to get hit. And not even that, he puts his chin up so like it's pretty amateurish in a weird way. And dude, I even know Miguel. I've talked to Miguel, really good dude. I like the guy. And, I think he won his first 2 UFC fights. And I kind of was on him versus Ponzinibbio. And before, like, you just see him, like, he kind of fights with his chin out and kind of tall or too tall. I'm like so dead set on this fight.
This is not the Ponzinibbio of 5 years ago. This is a Ponzinibbio with a lot of health issues. With a lot of health issues. I frankly think Chaos Williams would knock out Ponzinibbio also. So
yeah, probably.
I mean, honestly, I think he gives a better fight there. Man,
but Ponz has better defensive than Miguel.
Right. Yeah. Miguel has some of the worst defense in the division. He takes 5 strikes a minute.
Yeah. I'm telling you, like, I cannot believe this is plus money. Like, I really can't. It's like
plus
one of those things.
Yeah. Plus 115, minus 140 on Miguel Baeza. He is one of my favorite underdogs on the entire card as well. Chaos Williams, KO for me. So,
yeah. 100%. Yeah. I'm like, so this is good, man. I got Felicia Spencer and Max Holloway at the end of this card. So if I can win 2 of 3 of my underdogs here and then really lock in on my 2 favorites, this could be a really good money-making card. Really big.
Yeah, you just got to – you got to capitalize on those dogs. This is a dog we both like here. Next fight is at featherweight, the female featherweight division here. We've got the return of Leah Ledson, which – I just want to say first off and foremost, we are a Felicia Spencer podcast through and through. Phenom all day, the Phenom picks coming up, phenomenal picks coming through nearly every week, frankly. She is welcome to break down a fight anytime she wants with me.
We got to set that up.
Yeah, I mean, anytime she wants to come on, we'll do an Invicta card. We'll figure it out. I just want to say this. Leah Ledson, the story of her coming back, everything like that, it's a pretty incredible story. I really suggest people check it out anytime these fighters who are 5 years ago, thinking about retiring and able to battle all the way back to an opportunity like this. It's amazing. It really is. And I really wish her all the best. I really did like her on the Ultimate Fighter, honestly. Like, I thought she was I was really looking forward to seeing what she does, and I still am. But yeah, you got to go with Felicia Spencer inside the distance, plus 275. Yeah, submission.
Wow.
So much time off for Leah Ledson, who's mostly just a striker here. Felicia knows she needs this fight in all seriousness. This is a must win for her. A loss here could really, really be a serious problem, and she's not losing this fight. Submission, Felicia. What do you have to say, Dave? You going with Leah?
I was going back and forth on this one. Dude, I absolutely love it. Felicia is one of my best friends in the fight game. Love her to death. Talk to her every single week. She's coming on the Dave Van Auken Show, doing her phenomenal picks. She's so much, and I talked to her last night. She was at the UFC PI. I talked to her about it. She's been so much more in the fight game this year because of doing the picks each week. So she's staying in tune. She's never got too far out of it. Dude, I don't have to tell you, if anyone goes on a loss, that loss to Norma Dumont, she was fucking pissed. Like, she was not happy about it. She did not like how she went. I don't want to go too far into it. Something happened in the fight that didn't go well, and I don't think she's really been so public on it, so I don't want to, spill any tea with that. But I just think also, too, she's 8-3, and people, and let's just call it how it is. I understand some people are down on Felicia Spencer right now. But she lost to Cyborg, 15 minutes. She lost to Amanda Nunes, 25 minutes. And we see what Amanda does to Megan Anderson and sub people. You know what I mean? Then she lost to Norma Dumont, who even me I am so biased. I love Felicia Spencer. She's one of my best friends. Love Felicia Spencer. I am biased. I had Felicia winning that fight. Even the MMA decision had it a split decision against Felicia Spencer. And now everyone was so down on against Norma Dumont. You saw what Norma Dumont did to Aspen Ladd. You see what Norma Dumont's done in this division. She's looked pretty damn good. So it's like this loss might not be that bad. And maybe after this fight, I can say David just went bro WWE on us. after this fight, maybe I'll say something happened during that fight for Felicia. And I think if it didn't happen, I hate being that person. I think she wins that fight. I think she won the first round against Norma, no problem. And something happened, and she maybe lost 2 and 3. So I just love her in this spot.
-3, yeah.
Might be a little thick. I think she's actually down to -300, a little thick. But I did not know that, actually. 275 inside the distance. Oh, my fucking God, yes. Like, dude, that is so –
that's the play.
Yeah, that is the play. So, Mystic Sosa?
Yeah, Mystic Sosa. Yep.
Yeah, unbelievable. Thank you for that. My girls are going to have new shoes because of you, Mystic. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I also would add Felicia with Yadong, Tiago, and Diakese plus 400. Add Chaos to that to make it a plus 800. Those are kind of the PRP kind of the steps to parlay there that I would do. Felicia's not losing this one.
Yeah, I'm shocked once a month because it's a fight game, and I know a lot of shit can happen at any time. But once a month, I get shocked on a fight. If Felicia Spencer does not win this fight, I would be fucking shocked. Shocked.
Yeah, no, I would as well. All due respect to Leah Ledson also, but yeah, this is a tough welcome back. Phenom all day long here. Phenom, Savage, those are our Canadian girls there. But next fight, the long-awaited co-main event here, Ben Rothwell versus Marcus Rogerio de Lima. Hopefully this is a fun fight. Otherwise, we're going to see two heavyweights kind of hugging each other after 5 minutes for 15 minutes, cage control and everything like that. I can't get out of my head how Marcus Rogerio de Lima was submitted against the sumo guy, the Moldovan sumo wrestler. I forgot what the fuck was his name. Romanov, Alexander Romanov. Against Romanov. I don't feel like even pulling up these guys' Tapology records. I think that Ben Rothwell wins a decision or sneaks in a tricky guillotine choke at some point, but probably a decision for Ben Rothwell.
Yeah, I agree too. This is like Arlovsky. Remember, like 2 weeks ago, he shouldn't win this fight. Athletic ability, youth, all that shit. He shouldn't. But somehow, with your veteranship, he's going to get the job done. Unless Ben is like just done, and we just haven't seen that yet. And sometimes that happens. I got Ben Rothwell in a decision. A submission, I would love to see that prop. If it's something really sneaky, like a plus 450, 550, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, just because it does seem that Rogerio de Lima has 0 choke defense and 0 gas. So it seems like if, Rothwell gets close and puts any sort of standing headlock in, then and Justin saying Lima is winning this, no question.
No
okay,
way,
Justin.
dude.
I mean, if you want, I'm not gonna say no question on my end. If you want to be emphatic on this being the fight like you read better than anybody, congrats. I will say a few weeks ago when I said Chris Barnett and John Vellante shouldn't be on the card, they are the reason that 268 got off to the start it got. So maybe I jinx it again here with Rothwell, but I'll say Rothwell. And honestly, I see Rothwell just finding a choke at some point. I think he's a good enough submission guy, and Rogerio de Lima's bad enough at submissions that it happens, But Justin's just on one. He's telling me about I'm going to be short on my weed man, apparently. I don't know. He's a funny guy.
Never for Aaron. Aaron will never be short on his weed.
Yeah, never, ever will I. Not now, not never. Ben Rothwell, minus 155. Don't love it, but plus 130 on Rogerio, nowhere near a level where I'm. Let me see. The sub prop for Rothwell, I believe, is up. Inside the distance, Rothwell is plus 155. The sub is plus 400. So
that's not bad. That's not bad. That's a spot.
Plus 285 on. It's funny. They have plus 285 on the KO. I personally think the sub is much more likely for Rothwell than the KO. So
I can see that.
A little bit surprised there. But either way, we're to the main event, the max event, as we should say. We've been flying through this event. It's been great. Justin, Miz, everybody, appreciate y'all joining us here. But yeah, it's the max event. Let's be honest, against Yair Rodriguez. all week I've been watching Yair Rodriguez. I've been trying almost like a defense attorney here to find the case for Yair Rodriguez because I just want to find it here. Plus 450.
Not out there.
It's really not out there, man. Yair has a kicker's chance of winning. Not even a puncher's chance, a kicker's chance. And with each round, it gets less and less. Yair's, I think, live for about 2 rounds, maybe. And then after that, this fight gets so in the direction of Max Holloway. I think it's rough. But let's go ahead and look into this fight a little bit more. I think everybody and their mother at this point has Max. But it's about 2 29-year-olds. They're both same age, 13-2 versus 22-6. So there's a significant experience edge for Max Holloway. 2-inch reach advantage for Yair. The Mexican here, 13-2, has won 2 straight, hasn't fought since October of 2019, where he went to a decision with Jeremy Stephens, and Jeremy Stephens was taken over in the 3rd round. Those are things that aren't exactly great to see, especially in a guy in Max who, with each round, gets better. The Chan Sung Jung fight, very close fight. Honestly, I did have it for Chan Sung Jung until the end there, and then we had that elbow. But yeah, Max isn't. I do agree there. I'm definitely giving Max a lot of credit. He's looked very good. Obviously, the doctor's stoppage against Frankie Edgar kind of let him know there are levels to this. Before that, he did have the win over Hooker, but wins over guys like Charles Rosa by split decision, wins over an old BJ Penn, a split decision against Alex Caceres. He did finish Andre Fili very impressively with that head kick. He's a good fighter. There's a serious inactive streak to him. 2 fights in 2017, 1 in 2018, 1 in 2019, 0 in 2020, 0 so far in 2021. Yair has a kicker's elbows chance. I'm telling you guys, the odds are crazy. I'm not going to be betting this one too heavily. I got Max. I just think with each round, this becomes more Max's fight. I personally think Max gets it done inside the distance. I think he gets it done most likely by knockout somewhere in the 3rd or 4th round. So maybe you take a shot in a couple of round 3 or round 4, maybe, or if you have the decision. But I looked for the case for Yair. I think it could be a really, really entertaining fight. But yeah, Max, we've said a few times on this card, the better guy. I think this is a card where the better guy is winning in at least 9, maybe 10 of these fights, where it's like Mark DeCasey versus Raphael Alves. Mark DeCasey is the better guy. Again, over and over again. Felicia Spencer is the better girl, I should say. Yadong Song's the better guy between Julio Arce and Yadong Song. Yadong Song just better. It's close, but he's better. Thiago Moises is the better grappler MMA guy to Joel Alvarez. He's just better. And again here, Max Holloway is the better stand-up tactician, better cardio, better brawler, tougher guy, better defensively, more experience. It's Max here. He's training smarter than ever. He's focused. He's healthy. He is coming off of an injury. That is one X factor I will say for Max is this fight was pushed back due to a Max injury, not a Yair injury. I do believe Yair is going to be coming into this fight 100% healthy. The Chan Sung Jung fight, just a few things for Yair here, for things to think about. Chan Sung Jung fight. Yair came in on 2 weeks' notice for that 5-round fight, and he fought like that, okay? And he won the fight. So this is a 2 years in the making improvement. We do not know the level of improvements Yair's made. He's been fighting with Brandon. He's been training with Brendan Moreno. Another X factor, I mean, it's a little bit outside the octagon, but he's had 5 fucking family members die from COVID. Like, this has been a very trying year for Yair. I don't think we can necessarily know what Yair comes out here, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day for my pick. Max is that good. Right. These X factors aren't going to be enough. Coming back from 2 years off for a 5-round fight with Max Holloway, talk about as fucking tough as it can get. If Yair wins this, strap in though, people, because we have we got a new contender, period. And Yair is one of the biggest contenders in the. So for him to take this fight, he took this fight, I mean, very, very focused. 29 years old. He's not going to be coming in with the injuries. He doesn't have the amount of wear and tear that Max Holloway has with the knee injury, which I get he's coming back from now and everything. But the knee injury, the hundreds of strikes, he's taken a lot of time off since Qatar, so I love that. Or Cater, sorry. I call him Qatar. I know.
I was going. It was like coming out of my mouth as soon as you're like, sorry.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I respect Yair. I kind of hate how much he's been discounted here. A part of me, just from a pure fan spectacle perspective, wants to see him shock the world on Saturday. And I love Max Holloway, but I don't want to see that. I feel for Yair, man, and I think that him taking this fight, I can't respect it enough, and I don't think he's getting enough credit for it.
No,
I think too often people are.
You said you wanted to be the lawyer for Yair. You did a really good job there. So the last 2 minutes was like, pro.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. The defense rests.
Max Holloway is going to win this fight. I think he's going to win it pretty decisively. I think he's going to win it with a ton of damage. I can honestly even see like a technical knockout by the referee, kind of what he did with Calvin Kattar, and kind of they've got a lot of video on it, and it's just kind of, it was one of those big talking points. I could see the ref stopping because Yair is tough as hell, so like he's going to be able to take damage. Max Holloway, he's just one of those guys. I never want to see him lose. If you don't love Max Holloway, I don't know how you can love fights.
I love Max. I love Max.
Not promotional, not egotistical, just like the best dude. I hear the greatest stories about him, a family guy, and then he goes in there and puts on the greatest wars we ever see. I am a diehard Max Holloway fan. And the one thing I would say, the one little kind of takeaway negative thing I would say is when this fight was announced, I loved it. Really cool. I felt like it was a different generations, and I love Yair getting this big opportunity. I love
different generation between two 29-year-olds.
No, I know that it is crazy. I thought about that, but like, don't you think Yair was like the next generation? Him and Zabit and a couple of and Max is the old guard a little bit. I really thought that. So I thought this fight would maybe never happen in a weird way. So I'm happy it is. And then all of a sudden, I saw the odds, and I'm like, I don't know. It lost its luster. Like, I loved this fight 10 days ago, a week and a half ago. I loved the fight.
This is why a part of me just wants to see that Yair win, just to remind everybody, this ain't boxing. We don't need 700 main events, no matter how much it looks like it's over here. Like, I don't agree with the odds at the end of the day. And that's why,
it was bought up. Like, if Max Holloway was, I think it was like 350, maybe four when it first came out, maybe that 350 range. Now it's up to 7 because people keep on betting on him, or they parlay. Every parlay has Max Holloway in it.
Yeah, and this is the last thing I'll say on this is that while Max is the better guy, the way he fights, the way he's going to be fighting Yair here, for example, is in the only way where Yair has a real chance against someone better than them in a pure striking bout. That is what I will say here, is that Yair, it's like, imagine if Yair had to, I get this is different weight classes, but had to go against, a wrestling Mac chip type of approach here. Yair really has no chance there. That's not what Max is going to do here. Max is going to stay in the pocket. He is going to take shots. A kick to the body at any point can end anybody, no matter who they are. And Yair's liver kick is brutal. That rear liver kick, the body is open for Max at times in that open stance that Max is going to. But like I said, I do have Max here. I'm going to sprinkle the round 3 into round 4 just because I want to have some plus money on Max, but these aren't my main bets. And I'm not going to put a minus 700 in a whole lot of parlays, even though am pretty confident here. It's just not. Yeah. So at the end of the day, this is a.
So what's your number one? What's your number one bet on the whole card?
Number one. So we'll do number one bet on the entire card. Honestly. if I were taking, so if I just had $1,000 and I can only put it on one bet. So my $1,000 bet here, and this is not with me putting a whole lot into it, but yeah, my $1,000 bet, I honestly would just go straight up Yadong Song and Dia Casey in a parlay alone.
That's pretty good. Until I saw this great comment by Mystic, it was my $1,000 Chaos Williams. I don't know why. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's just my read. I see a knockout by Chaos Williams. I don't know. Round 1, round 2, he's going to get the chin. Like Miguel puts his chin out there. I think Chaos is athletic enough, quick enough, strong enough. Absolutely love Chaos. Love that spot. But now you're telling me that Felicia Spencer is plus 275 on an ITD. Like, I hope we come back Monday. We all see each other, and we are all in a really, really good mood because I see some big earnings. I don't know. Sometimes you know this, Aaron. Sometimes the card is a hard one to read, and it's a hard one to make money and figure it out, and you kind of take risk and chances. To me, this card is super easy to read. If we're wrong, we're wrong, and it happens. It is a fist fight at the end of the day. But I think we got some high-end potential here.
Yeah, no, I agree, honestly, and I think it's interesting because you can do a little bit of the parlay game here, which is more where I'm preferable, as well as the props plays that you're pointing out here. I think there's a little bit of everything here. I think Ben Rothwell plus 400 by sub is a worthy play as well if you're going to go with that. Chaos Williams by KO, Yadong Song by decision, Dia Casey by decision. Felicia inside the distance. I love it. I think we're going to be talking about a pretty successful night at the end of it all here. It's been another great breakdown here. For 11 fights to go an hour and 11 minutes, that's a good sign, frankly, because we do have a couple disagreements. But yeah, we're rolling through it. We're seeing a lot of these fights similarly. We don't always see the fights similarly. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it should be a really good event. Going back to your merge comment, I definitely disagree on it at this point. This is a card that can more. Yeah. Please.
Real quick, I guys, if you're into it, you're into it. If not, you're not. Bare Knuckle FC is giving away free money tomorrow night. Guys, Pearl Gonzalez is an underdog to Britton Hart. Pearl Gonzalez is an underdog. That's one. And you ready for this one? There's two more.
Yep.
Louis Palomino. Yep. Yes, the Louis Palomino that went the wars with Justin Gaethje. He's been undefeated in bare knuckle, has been putting away every motherfucker, like literally knocking him out, their best guys. Louis Palomino is the best fighter on their card. He's minus 140 in a championship fight against a 135er. He was their 135-pound champion. He's moving up 20 pounds to 155. Guys, go get free money. Louis Palomino, minus 140. And then last but definitely not least, Hector Lombard is minus 110 to defend his title against a guy named Juggernaut. You can't make this up. Bare Knuckles giving away free money. I'm done. I'm over.
Money is money.
Palomino, Hector Lombard. You're welcome.
Yeah. And don't forget, guys, also on the channel, if you want some more free money, we've got the Bellator breakdown up right now. We've got the LFA breakdown up right now. There are parlays galore available Friday night with BKFC, LFA, Bellator, UFC to finish up the night, and football on Sunday. Dave, it's been a great show here as always, man. Until next week, thank you, Ms. Tapatio, Mystic Sosa, Justin, Phillip, everybody else, Camden Glass, Boston Comments, everybody else out there. Keep taking care of each other. Until next week, we are out. Go check out the rest of the breakdowns on the channel right now with Lewis and Lucky Locks. Peace out, everybody.
Subscribe.
Go subscribe. Banana and the Bee. Go subscribe to that too. Seriously, people. Subscribe to that. Let's go. But keep taking care of each other out there. Peace out, everybody.